live. Here we go. Thank you for tuning in to Chat with Deb. I'm Debbie Leno. I'm also known as the Inner Peace Coach, and I help women resolve their inner conflict. I'm the founder of Luma Life Wellness and Coaching, and also the creator of the Ageless Woman, which you are all familiar with. And here today, joining me is my new friends. I have a feeling we're going to be doing a lot of things together in the future, Jean. I'm really excited about it. Is Jean Rowe. She is joining us today from Denver, Colorado. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much, Debbie. It's a pleasure to be here.
You are so welcome. Today, our topic is uncovering our power and saying yes to life. So Jean, just to let you know a little bit about Jean, she has practiced as a certified women's health practitioner for over 40 years. In 1982, Jean pioneered in advancing healthcare access for women suffering from PMS when she started the second clinic in the country addressing this issue. There was minimal recognition of PMS at that time, and there were no answers in traditional medicine. Thus began her long journey into functional medicine, actually holistic medicine, which became functional medicine. So exciting. That's such an exciting field of research and knowledge. So the goal of her work has been to support women in living, functioning optimally in body, mind, and spirit. And her recent focus in recent years has been fostering this in women as they age. And her passions are, she's an avid researcher for remedies and solutions and the newest and the latest, all aspects of wellness, strength training, hikes, walks, mindfulness practices. Her message is it's time for women to rise, share their gifts, and lead. Jean?
Hello, everyone.
You have a favorite quote of yours that has been massively important in your life, and it has really inspired you. So can we start by you just sharing that with us?
Yes. Sometimes I can speak it, but I think I'll half read it at least. I can't tell you the impact this one quote has had on me. It's by Debbie Ford, who was a psychotherapist, and I think died a few years ago in her 40s, I think, of some cancer. But boy, did she have a powerful impact. So the quote from Debbie Ford is, "If you are going to be courageous, an example for all those who are ready to step into their power, then you must be willing to show the world all of who you are." That's the big one for me. All of who you are, like no holding back. You must have the guts. I love that word. I don't know if it's my Southside Chicago self or what. You must have the guts to throw off the chains of modesty and mediocrity in order to be the light that the world needs. I love that quote. Can I read it again?
Yes, I love that. Yes, please read that again, because I think it is so amazing.
If you are going to be courageous, an example for all those who are ready to step into their power, then you must be willing to show the world all of who you are. You must have the guts to throw off the chains of modesty and mediocrity in order to be that light that the world needs, and the world needs light. That's my motivation.
Oh my goodness.
And so true.
We could speak to that on so many different levels.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to speak to the guts of that?
I think the modesty and mediocrity are things, ideas, modest about ourselves because we see ourselves as mediocre at best sometimes. We don't see ourselves as the rising, shining lights that we are and that our potential holds. So getting to where we can express that more fully, and it's really almost an emergency now that we do this, that we work at this intently, support each other, and uncover this power and express it in the world. I mean, don't you think it's desperately needed?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And the thing of it is that everybody, and I don't care who you are or what level of education you've had, you have something to contribute of value, something, either through your life experiences or through the work that you do, right? Right, Jean? I mean, everybody.
You're
yes.
greeting people on the street. You're helping people from time when an opportunity presents. So many differences, but I think it goes deeper than that is what I look at with women, of course, because we are generally trying to be helpful people and that sort of thing. But it's that inner thing that we're carrying, that we're suppressing much more of what we have to offer.
And what do you think? I mean, I kind of have my idea on this, but I really want to ask you,
Yeah,
what do you think is the number one limiting belief that keeps women from really being empowered and blossoming into that place where she can really share all of herself?
I don't know what a number one would be. It's certainly about our valuing of ourselves and what we have to offer. I think
Maybe they're not good enough. Maybe
I'm
that,
not good enough is huge. Yeah.
yeah. And
Well,
that could mean a lot of different
it
things.
can mean different things. And I think depending where it stems from, the limiting beliefs, they're often linked to trauma of some kind or unhealthy situations that you've been in as a child, or maybe just, I guess, trauma, like even being a patient as a child, for example, or something.
Hmm.
But ideas, beliefs that you've grown up with and so we cast these ideas sort of in concrete about who we are and what we are capable of, and we structure our life around that. And the truth is, they're all made up. I mean, not that they don't have reason, but they're made up. So they can be
Right.
unmade up. Not easy all the
Yes.
time. But it's like a paralysis of limiting beliefs.
Hmm.
I'm speaking to myself for myself. It was like a paralysis of limiting beliefs. I founded that PMS clinic for a reason. I had horrid PMS, and I did not know how to control it. And my opinion of myself was so low for the way I would behave in those 2 weeks and feel in those 2 weeks or longer. It extended out after a while. So I just have such compassion for women who are suffering from these limiting beliefs, and compassion for our world, because we need you. We need women to be freed up from these limiting beliefs.
You know, I would like to speak to the kind of like the element of discontent that you had. So here you were a nurse practitioner, and here you are suffering from really, really, really a horrible PMS, right? And not having any answers in and around you through the medical field. And it was that discontent and that curiosity and that anger that you
Desperation.
used, and desperation, that you took that and use it in a positive way to create more answers for women. I like that you did
Yeah, I
that.
was seeing a fair number of women who had those symptoms too. And I mean, I literally was in the hall of a medical office. I was working with two women doctors, which were very rare women gynecologists at that era, that 1982. But one day I was sitting in the office and I just said, "I'm setting up a PMS clinic. Do you want to do it with me?" to the doc. She said, "Sure." And I literally walked down the way in our medical complex and went to the office and said, "Do you have a little office we can rent?" Opened the door, looked in the medical journals.
I
There was,
love it.
yeah, it was so funny. And I opened them, looked in medical journals, and there were about 2 or 3 articles from a doctor in England who had been treating PMS since 1953 with natural progesterone. 53. We've never done it here. So that was the beginning. It wasn't the solution for everything, but it was sure a great beginning. But it was
Yeah.
remarkable.
But see, here's another thing that I'd like to speak to is that there was you didn't spend a lot of time figuring out all the what's and wherefores and all, like, oh my gosh, okay, I have this idea. How am I going to do that? And then you think of all this resistance. And I think sometimes those resistances kind of keep us from just doing it. So like you finally got that voice to say, who's going to do it with me? And you just started. I
Yeah, it was like
Yes.
misdirected in some way. I don't know, but I was desperate, and I knew so many women who were having the same problem.
You started somewhere. You were willing. You were willing.
Well, yeah, that was a willing time. It was challenging, but it was willing. But it was a wonderful experience in that when we helped a lot of women. When we opened the door, and we put an ad on a local TV station, women flocked in, and it was many women with true psychiatric illness who there weren't good medications even back then for treating true psychiatric illnesses, and there was so little available to people. And then the PMS, was nothing was available. And but the suffering of the women really motivated me to just start studying it and learning what else could be helpful. And so we learned certain things. I would say, if I were to say two things, natural progesterone was one, and treating candida yeast overload was the other. It's sort of become my specialty in life. They call me the yeast queen in Denver, which could be interpreted as being unflattering, but I like it.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, like who wants to be like associated with candida? But yes, that is so true. And just for our audience to know, there will be more discussions with Jean on those very topics. So stay tuned for more from her, because she has a lot to share and impart about hormone balancing and whatnot. So you also had a little challenge breaking away from that. You had a challenge to say yes, to have a year of yes.
Yes, so I treated my own PMS, but it wasn't the end-all treatment for me. It helped, but there was still a lot going on inside me with massive depression and that sort of thing, related to childhood incidents and that kind of thing. And I did every spiritual path you could imagine, of course. every psychotherapy, primal scream, whatever. I did it all. And I found a lot of help, of course, along the way. But really and truly, addressing the physiology was a major piece of that. So I want to just say that we're going to talk later about that, because it is a major piece, along with the limiting beliefs. But then as the years went on, I continued to have this struggle with my self-esteem. And I got into a business, network marketing business, 3 years ago. And I somehow, from a list, picked this leader to be with. And boy, was I guided. so it was like I had this low self-esteem, so everything seemed difficult to me, like I couldn't do it. Like I couldn't do a call, I couldn't do a tiny presentation with 2 sentences. I just couldn't do this stuff. I was like holding back all the time. And I got with this guy, and it became my coach. I call him my gift of a nudge. And he was a nudge. And he kept saying to me, stop thinking small, Jean. And I want to say that to women out there. When you think of yourself and what you can do, stop thinking small. He saw in me so much that I did not see in myself. And I encourage you, find someone who will help you, who will see in you what you don't see in yourself, and who will help you to see it. So he was a genius. He just would give me little tasks. Okay, we're going to do this now. So, I would say yes because I was appreciative of him helping me, but I was terrified. But eventually then I started to like saying yes to this stuff. It was kind of weird. Like all of a sudden I was like, this is kind of good. I could see the difference it was making in me and my life. My level of happiness was really going up. And I liked it. So I decided then, I finally said to him one day, okay, for the next year, this is 2018, I'm going to say yes to everything you suggest. Well, that was dangerous, but but I did. I said yes. And, I wouldn't trade those experiences for anything. I got wanted in a Toastmaster group. I never wanted to public speak. It was like the number one thing I was afraid of.
Yes, I can
got in this Toastmaster group in North Carolina. I'm on video Toastmaster group. Got me in that and I just started saying yes. And when I say that to people sometimes, and people are dubious, say, you can't say yes to everything. Some things aren't good for you. I said, no, I was saying yes to the things in here. I knew they would be good for me. And we all have that.
Yes.
Here, we know certain things, certain actions, certain changes would be so good for us.
Yes.
We're scared to do it. But I can only encourage you is just say yes to something new this week. Just begin. Maybe do it once a week, some little thing.
I love that.
It just moves you along in a different way. For one thing, you're empowering yourself by not going like this all the time, shrinking away from an opportunity.
Or I don't have time, or whatever.
Exactly. And other excuses, right? It's been one of the most powerful things that's happened for me, seriously. And I still work with him because I still need help.
Well, the truth of the matter is,
with this too, so I like that.
the truth of the matter is, coaches need coaches. We all need coaches. Even even our coaches need coaches. It's, it just sort of works
It's
that way.
true, isn't it? Yeah. We all want to continue to grow and
Yeah.
keep
Oh, absolutely.
keep offering from this well of gifts we have to offer. I mean, none of us have exhausted them, I'm sure.
Oh my goodness. I mean, we could talk on these topics for a long time. We really could. I'm so excited about some future talks that we can really get into.
I am too. I just want women to know that there's probably a part of you, if you ask yourself, there's probably a part of you that knows that you have much more capability maybe than you're having. Maybe you're someone who's excelling already. Yay, and good for you. And I'm so glad and grateful. But for what people who are struggling, you probably know deep down inside that you have some idea of what might be useful in our society, or you have some idea what might be helpful in a relationship, or you have some idea of what you might contribute in other ways in the world, and the capabilities that you actually have that you are long unrecognized. I'd say just be open to that. Be open to having a look and maybe
I
take
love
as
that.
much action.
I love that because everybody has something that they could contribute to the world, even if it's something that you don't think is that. Let's just say you are awesome with kids and you give of yourself to watch somebody else's kids so that they can go do something that they need to do, want to do, can't do because they have responsibilities with their children. To be just that person to say, hey, I got your back for the next 2 hours.
So good.
That's a gift, right?
Yes.
I mean, it could be, it doesn't have to be writing a book or doing something massive. It could be just in those small little things.
Yes. It builds from there often, but yeah, it can be small things forever.
Even if you're in a grocery line.
Uh-huh.
This is one of my pet peeves, actually. To be in a grocery line and just have like maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 things in your cart, and you have a mom, 3 people behind you that is struggling with a full cart of groceries and
Yes.
kids that are off the rails because they're hungry, they're tired, they're cranky. I would gladly give up my spot. I don't have to be in that much of a rush that I can't give up my spot to somebody who needs to get through the line before me.
Lovely.
It's just, we have, I think that we just need to be more conscientious and aware of how we can contribute in small ways to make somebody else's day a little easier, a little nicer, to think of other people more.
Good idea. Good way to put it.
Yeah.
Great place to start. Definitely.
And if it's something about writing a book or if it's something like that, you just have to get out of your head and just start doing it and just start writing. Even if it's in a journal, just start writing. Before you know it, your chapters are going to come to you and your book's it could take 5 years for that book. I'm not saying it's going to take that long, but start somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
it's likely you will surprise yourself at what you have inside you when it starts coming out on paper. Don't you find that's true? I just write,
yes.
and then I start writing more and more and more and more. This computer is loaded.
I love it. I can't wait to see your first book.
There'll probably be one someday.
There will be a book someday.
So I didn't address this, but basically it's about willingness. We've talked about willingness before. Really being willing, just summon that willingness up inside you to be willing to make a shift when it seems right for you, when you see something. Just be willing to take a step. And
radical willingness.
Life can change. Radical willingness, I call it radical willingness when you dive in. When something you're really scared of.
Yeah.
And it's radical willingness is all of you. And I compare it to if you were walking down the street with holding the hand of your grandchild on a busy street and the child bolted from your hand and ran into the street. You would be in that street in a second. Not one fiber of your being would hesitate. And that's radical willingness. So if you got something big you're thinking about, radical willingness, don't hold back.
Wow, Jean, I love that. I love that because it's true. Wouldn't we all jump in to save I mean, to get our child, our grandchild, our children, or
Mhm.
anyone out of the street?
Yeah,
But wow, are we willing to do that for ourselves?
there you go. Good question.
I love that. And unless you do it, you don't know. I mean, you could be having you could completely change the trajectory of your life if you would just say yes to life, be willing, to jump in. All of you, I love that because some of us like we do like one foot in or like one toe in, like I'll just try the toe. Okay, now I'll put my foot in, and then we kind of hesitate. But I mean, just to dive in, to just plunge in is pretty pretty bold and pretty brave
It's exciting.
and exciting.
It stirs up your life, in great ways. So
It can.
yeah, I think we
Ah,
have to act, and it can be like you say, small actions. It could stay small actions, but we have to act.
it depends on who you are. I mean, don't you think that we're all have this basic personality? We're either introverts or extroverts. Sometimes we're a mix of both. Um, but I think really just being aware of who you are,
Yeah.
what you have to give to the world. It could be big, it could be small. It could be you're playing small and you should be playing big. But I think what you said earlier, Gina, and I'll tag on that, is that to have that quiet time and that reflection time, whether it be a meditation or whether it be you're just coming out of a sound sleep and you're giving yourself a moment to rest and be with the world for a moment before you get up and run, and just be noticing those gifts that you have, those talents that you have.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, sometimes we take it for granted. Sometimes we don't even think about it. But when I started doing the interviews, it was in a meditation. I woke up one morning and I just heard this voice say to me, "You need to start talking to women. You need to start giving them a chance to tell their stories and to open up their voice and start conversations and start talking." I'm like, okay. So I didn't have any background in this.
Great.
I plunged in like a European cold dip. Boom.
I love the plunging in.
Yeah, I just plunged in
Exciting
and did
things
it.
happen.
Yeah. So don't underestimate yourself. Anyone that's out there listening.
That's the big
Um,
fall I was talking about, is the underestimating yourself. It
yes,
doesn't have to be that you have grand plans. Just don't underestimate yourself.
absolutely. Absolutely. And don't be afraid. Um, and there's plenty of people in your life, and I would be one of them that could help you clear those beliefs so that you can move past them
Absolutely.
and operate from a better place, from a more solid place, not based on the things that you believed as a child.
Yep, I do the same, similar thing,
Yes.
but I work also on the physiologic angle.
Yes, we didn't speak to that. How far are we into this? About 20 minutes. Do you want to give a moment to speak about the physiology?
Oh, just briefly, I think it would be good to just mention, that, well, can I use a slightly colorful word on here?
Go for it. Just whatever word comes to your mind is okay.
So a lot of people walk around with this burdened physiology, a burden of their physiology is burdensome to them. They're not well. We called them in my work the walking unwell.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's you in the women. It was amazing. It was amazing to me in the PMS clinic how much these women who were suffering so much would do in life. They were mothers. They were working full time. They were taking care of the family back in the era when women even did more things in the home unshared than they do now. It was amazing to me that they accomplished all this because they felt really horrible.
Mm.
So, um, and well, it's a complex of things. PMS, just like everything else, like this, is made up of many different. There's a lot of different things to address. Sometimes toxins in our environment are big. Chemical sensitivities were huge in my patients. They're sensitive to a lot of things people think are innocent that aren't. Gut microbe imbalances, candida being one, but bacterial imbalances as well. Nutritional needs, your particular ones that you're deficient in, not being met. The weight of stress on your physiology, hormonal deficiencies or imbalances.
It
The
all
ovarian, thyroid, adrenal, all of that.
It does impact you. Boy, if you that speaks to functional medicine, just getting to the very, very bottom roots of your conditions, like what is at the very bottom, and work your wellness up to the top, right?
Yes, and what I like to do, my approach that I'm using right now with functional medicine is I want to start simple. I think people get overwhelmed by how much is involved in a workup. There's just a lot of cost, a lot of tons of supplements and visits and dollars, and it can be expensive. Not that it's not good. It's just I'm not sure everyone needs that. So I like to hear people's story first, see what I can take from that without testing all kinds of things. See what I can take from that, which is what we're doing back in the PMS clinic, and since then, and addressing one or two things that seem big.
Right.
Sometimes if you take one load off of people, one big thing, you free up their energy to be able to do more to help themselves.
Yes.
So it's very important.
Mm-hmm.
I do that with nutrients now first. I have this particular nutrient I use. And Candida has been my first line. If it fits, not if it doesn't fit, but there's a history that fits for that. And as a trial, why not? Why not a trial? And see where we get. So I say, I always say, when people feel like crap, they aren't going to be able to do the program you lay out for them if you lay out a big plan.
I agree with
It's not going to happen.
I agree
like
with that.
So I don't know what I'm going to call my little approach yet, but it's going to be simple steps for functional medicine or something like that. A beginning.
Excellent.
Just a beginning for people. Not that there's that value in what other people are doing with it. People are doing fabulous work in functional medicine. But to begin easily, simply.
I think that really is a great place to start with for most women. But I think you'll have more success that way. You're not so overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a sound behind you, a whistling sound or something behind you.
Cleaning people. They told me vacuum. I told them 20 minutes, but I was wrong.
Okay, so then we can wrap it up. I look forward to doing another segment with you in the fall on something really specific. Hormone balancing is one that you and I have talked about. There's several different topics that we could focus on that would be, maybe I could do a poll on my page and to see what topics are of interest that are of high interest that we could touch on.
Yeah, that would be great. I'd love it.
And yeah, well, me too. Well, do you want to give one more final message? Like, what would be your bottom line message to wrap up this talk?
Well, gee, it's a separate thought in a way, but live in the present moment. Mindfulness is my thing that I use for myself. It's one of my biggest helps. And so live in the present moment and really reflect now. What's the truth right now? Not the truth from the past or the future that you're imagining. The truth for right now. What's the truth right now?
That is the best antidote to stress or anxiety right there.
It is.
That's a perfect message, Jean. Thank you for that. That's a very needed message for today, for sure.
Yeah.
If you want to contact Jean or connect with her, you can. She can be reached at livewellwithjean@gmail.com is her email address. She's also available on Facebook, either Jean Rowe on her personal page or Exquisite Aging. And so if she resonated with you and you'd like to follow up with her, please do so. Jean, thank you so much for your time today.
This was great. I thoroughly enjoyed being with you all today.
I enjoyed having you on, and I look forward to doing more with you.
Okay, great. I look forward to it too, Debbie. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Many blessings, everyone.
Blessings to everybody. Oh, we do have a Facebook user who is just, would love to have her quote repeated. That was powerful. Let's end by repeating the quote, because that was
great.
Beautiful.
Thank you. If you are going to be courageous, an example for all those who are ready to step into their power, then you must be willing to show the world all of who you are. You must have the guts to throw off the chains of modesty and mediocrity in order to be the light that the world needs. So be your light.
That's beautiful. Thank you. And thank you
Thank
for
you.
that comment. That was definitely worth repeating. Great words.
I can send that to anybody who requests it.
Yes. You know what? You could post it again. I know we posted it before,
Yeah,
but
I can
post it
post it.
again and I'll put it out there again because it's a
Sure,
beautiful, beautiful quote.
sure. Will do.
All right. Thank you, Jean.
Okay, thank you, everyone.